So once you finish the install of Magento, you're first presented with this survey, which you're welcome to fill out. But it's kind of a big question of like, where do you go from here? So down here, they kind of have a suggestion. You can either look at the front end or the back end. So let's briefly look at the front end. This is Magento's default template, and it kind of hints at what it gives you just to start out with. You get search over here, you get wish list. Of course, it comes with cart and checkout. You can provide pulls and ads on the side. And you have kind of a concept of an account where people can update their personal preferences. So that's pretty much it for the default template. We'll go into great detail on the front end later on, but right now I just wanted to just show you kind of what comes out of the box with it. Right now, where you should be spending most of your time is on the back end. During the install, in fact, the screen right before last said, please set up an admin. So I set up my admin information. I'm going to go ahead and log in. All right, so you could be presented with little alert pop-up boxes or messages, any of those things. You go ahead and discard for now because there are no real pertinent pieces of things you need to do as soon as you start up. The first thing you need to really understand is where is everything at? So just going along the top, I kind of want to take a moment and talk about what these things are. First off, the dashboard is pretty much what you think it is. It's just a heads-up display of how your e-commerce store is doing, things that are sold, things people are searching for, which products were viewed. And this will actually be a kind of a timeline view of revenue. And then you can filter down by which time span you want to cover. There's a little bit of filtering you can do by selecting these tabs, but ultimately this is just for like a really quick reference, and it's what you'll see when you log in every time. Moving on to the sales tab. Sales is really everything about the order. Tracking numbers, invoices, payment information, issuing refunds, taxes, which we'll go into greater detail on. A lot of this is all going to be packed into these sales options. Anything that has to do with the end goal, with the actual completion of the sale and what happens after the sale, will all be found here. Catalog is where you'll spend the majority of your time in the admin. It's where products are kept, product images, which categories those products go into, the categories and the structures of the categories themselves. And you get some other more eclectic features like Google Sitemap and tags. And kind of a really cool baked-in feature with Magento is you'll get reviews and ratings right out of the box. So people can place reviews and talk about their experiences with your products right from the get-go. Mobile, we're not going to go into too much detail on. Basically, it's an add-on from Magento that allows you to turn your store into a native mobile app. Customers. So that's pretty much just everything to do with customers. Their customer information, and if you want to find out what orders one particular customer has made, you can go to Manage Customers and drill down into that. Customer groups are things like, maybe you have a price discount for one customer group that you don't give to another. Or maybe you tax a certain customer group but not another. And what customer groups do is you say customer A is in this group and customer B is in a different group. And this other group is not taxable. And so we'll manage those settings later, but there's just two really big concepts for customers. It's the customer themselves and which group they belong to. Promotions. It is what you think it is. It's coupons, it's buy one, get one free, any and everything that has to do with the Magento promotions that are built into it. You can find them all right here. Newsletter, we're not going to spend a lot of time in newsletter. Magento, of course, has this built-in newsletter feature, but not a lot of people use it. More people lean to use like a MailChimp or something to that effect. So just know that you can keep it in your back pocket. Magento will let you manage those newsletter features. CMS is pretty interesting. It's not necessarily, don't think of it as like a blog, but CMS might be where you would keep the page for your privacy policy. Or if you want to create a page talking about your refund policy, you'd create them all in the CMS pages. It's just something where you want to keep static content, maybe an About Us page or something you stand for, things like that. Reports is the dashboard, but it's more expanded. So you'll be able to drill down into more specific areas of concerns, figure out what things are put into shopping carts, what items are abandoned in carts, your best-selling products, tags and reviews. You might want to look at those. Really important what people are searching for. They do come with like a really nice suite of reports. And the last tab, System, this is where everything that doesn't necessarily have to do with marketing your store, but the operation of your store, that is to say, admin user accounts will be created here. The actual configuration of where credit cards are going to be processed will be here. If you have any downtime trying to figure out, what settings could be off to make your store go down, all of those kinds of settings are going to be packed into this menu. We're going to spend a lot of time in System going through the configuration and figuring out, how do we make our store do what we want it to do. And you'll spend probably, not the majority of your time. The majority of your time will be spent probably in products and categories, but shortly after that, you'll probably spend a lot of time in System. So I hope this helps, and we'll go into greater detail in the next movies.